Hey y'all, welcome back to the Roads Less Traveled. On today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing this TC22 solar powered Wi-Fi trail camera from Voopeak. Okay y'all, so Voopeak sent me this trail camera. That being said, it's still going to be an honest and thorough review just like always. There's not a whole lot of information on the box here. It does say that it's a solar integrated hunting camera, and also says that it's a Wi-Fi connection with a smartphone. It needs no batteries, has a built-in lithium battery, which is great. It says it has a 0.1 second trigger speed, which is really good, and it's waterproof. That's pretty much all in the box. It's a really nice box. Really like the artwork on it. Let's go ahead and dive in and see what's in here. Okay, right off the bat, we have our user manual. And it's pretty good size user manual. There's lots of information in here. Next thing, we have our camera. Gotta say, it looks pretty good so far. And finally, we have two straps. That's not typical. Usually these cameras just come with one. It only has a spot for one strap, so I guess they just send you a spare, so I appreciate that, Voopeak. And also we have a USB to USB-C charging cable. Let's go ahead and take a look at our camera. We'll pull off all of our stickers. There we go. So one interesting thing about this camera is it actually has dual cameras. See, one there, one there. And what that does, it just really helps the camera be better at multiple things, right? So you have a camera that's specifically for taking nighttime photos, one specifically for taking daytime photos, or vice versa. And that really helps it shine in both areas instead of just one or the other. Let's open it up. The latches feel pretty good. It does have a hole here on the side where you could place a padlock if you wanted to lock the camera closed. And we open it up. So it has a little before you start guide here. I'll just kind of read that real quick, or actually it comes right out. And it says to please insert a memory card and format the memory card in the camera menu. We'll be sure to do that here in a little bit. Tear off all the protective films on the IR lens and sensors. Remove the obstructions. It does say to maximize results when the battery runs low, the camera will only take photos or record black videos in photo and video mode. So that's just a way that the camera can continue to function while it's on low battery until the solar panel charges it back up. It says the video recording function and the IR LED do consume a lot of power, so just be aware of that. If you have the camera set to take long videos, and the battery is more likely to run dead, and the solar panel may not be able to keep up with that power draw. Whereas if it's just on photos, it's probably going to do a better job of, you know, replenishing that battery so that you can keep it in the field longer. I do notice right off the bat here on this left side, there's a little light beside a battery. There's a wasp. There's a little light on beside a battery indicator, and what that I believe is telling me is the battery is currently charging, and the way it's doing that is through this solar panel. So it's really great to know the solar panel is working and is actively charging our lithium battery. This camera does not come with an SD card. However, Voopeak does offer SD cards, and they were nice enough to send me one. So I'm gonna go grab that real quick. We'll get it in here, and then we're gonna go through the setup on this thing. All right, y'all, I got my SD card that Voopeak provided here. Looks like a pretty good card. We're gonna get that installed. And while I do that, I just kind of wanted to go over some of the specs on this camera. It's a pretty powerful camera looking at the specs. So first off, I've already mentioned the dual lenses. It has the dual lenses, like I said, for, you know, one for daytime, one for nighttime, but they also have what they call a Starlight Night Vision, where you can get 65 feet of nighttime vision distance. So I'm really curious to test that out and see how good it is. Also, this camera is capable of obtaining 60 megapixel clear images and up to 4K UHD 30 frame per second video. So really high quality video on this camera. It has obviously the solar panel. It also uses some video compression, which can help save up to 90% of SD card storage space, is what they claim. So that, if true, is huge, because if you've messed with 4K videos much, you know they consume just massive amounts of storage, and one of these little SD cards is just typically not big enough to keep this camera in the field for a prolonged period of time. It has loop recording, meaning that the camera will overwrite the oldest on the SD card if that SD card does fill up. And it has an app that you can use Wi-Fi with. We'll get that app downloaded and figure that out here in a little while. It has a 120-degree wide angle, so you should be able to see a pretty good distance. It has a 0.1 second trigger speed, and it's also IP66 waterproof. So all that being said, now I got the SD card installed, I'm going to bring the camera around, or I'm going to go around on that side of the camera. We're going to power this dude on, and we're going to see about going through all the settings, getting it set up on the device itself, and then we'll deal with getting the app installed and look through all the settings on the app. This is going to be the very first power on sequence, so let's flip it to setup mode. There we go, we got a nice little animation. We're going to choose English. We're just going to say okay. Now we're going to set the date. It is 2025 May, and what is the date? Today is the 16th. Okay, our time, it is around 11:30. It's actually like 11:36, I believe. All right. So now we've got our camera here. You can see the preview. You can kind of look around and see the different settings. We're going to jump straight into the menu. We're going to go into our mode. I like to set these cameras on photo plus video for the first time. Our PIR interval is 30 seconds. That's okay. Sensitivity is medium. Time lapse is off. Loop recording is off. Night shoot mode, we'll just say auto. We'll put that on auto. Low battery at night. No IR LED. Monitoring period, it's off. So if you wanted to have this camera only monitor certain times of the day, you could set that there. Our side PIR setup, that's on. And frequency is 60 Hertz. We can go over to, by just toggling to the right, our image settings. And you can choose different image settings for daytime or nighttime. We're going to put both on the highest resolution possible. So the nighttime camera has a maximum of 8 megapixels, which is still plenty good enough, but it's just something to point out. Picture number, this is where you would choose, how many photos it takes per, activation, and you can adjust your shutter speed. Video resolution, we're going to leave it on 4K P30 on daytime, and nighttime we'll do the highest, which is 1296 P30. Video length 10 seconds is fine with me, and we're going to record the audio. Now let's just go through our settings one more time. Our language is English. You could set it to default. We're going to format our SD card. We've already set our date and time. Time format, we'll just leave that at 24 hours is fine. Date stamp is on. Beep sound, I like that off. We could set the camera name if we want to. I'm just going to leave that setting. You can have a password setting, and you can have a password for the app. Auto Wi-Fi off after 2 minutes. Auto power off after 3 minutes. The backlight goes off after 1 minute. You can get technical support. You can see your version information, and you can do a firmware update. All right, y'all, so we've got our camera all set up from within. Now we're going to download the app. and just run through the settings on the app before we get this camera out in the field, see what kind of pictures and videos we can get off of it. I did notice, and you probably seen it when we were going through the settings, the SD card kept saying SD card is protected. Well, I realized that I actually had to pull the SD card out, and the little, the little slide over here was slid to lock. So I had to unlock that SD card so that I could format it within the camera. I did so, and we should be good to go. So now let's take a look and see if we can find the app for the camera. And what's real handy is you could use your instruction manual for that. The Wildlife Cam app is right here. But if you forget, I realized as I was going through the settings in our camera, there's actually a QR code you can scan within the camera. So let's take a look and try to do it that way. All right, so how you would do that is when you have your camera turned on here, I'm just gonna kind of flip it around so hopefully you can see. If you just press the Wi-Fi button just up here at the top, then it pops up the QR code right there on our display screen, and we can take our camera and scan that QR code. Oops. Just like that. And then follow that link to our app in the App Store. All right, there it is. So the app is called Wildlife Cam. I actually already have the app installed. I have another camera that uses this exact same app. But if you did not, then you would, from that link, go to your either Apple Store, Google Play, whatever device you use, download it. You probably have to you may have to set up an account, I'm not sure, and then you can just open it up. Okay, so let's get this camera set up. So it's on setup mode now. We're gonna click Auto Connect, and we're gonna push the plus button next to the Wildlife Cam. It says it's connecting to the camera. Please wait. The camera actually popped up a little Wi-Fi signal, and we're going to say join that network. All right, there we go. We're connected to our device, and you can see exactly what the camera is seeing, which is great for setting these cameras up on trees. You can have 100% confidence that it's looking at what you want it to look at before you walk away. Also within this app, we can go into and view our pictures, which we don't have any yet, and also go into the settings and go through all those exact same settings we've already set up on the device. You could also manually take a picture if you wanted to. It's also recording a short little video since we had it set up to do picture plus video. So that should go around 10 seconds. Or maybe I actually have to stop it since it was manual. Now if we go to our picture gallery, there we go. There's our movie we just captured manually. All right, guys, so we have our app set up. The only thing left to do with this camera is to get it out in the woods and start getting some pictures and videos from it. Before I do that, I'm actually going to take it back in the house. I'm going to plug it in so it has a nice full charge. Even though the solar panel should top off the battery, it's always a good idea to go ahead and get a full 100% charge before you ever put these cameras out in the field. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll catch back up with y'all out in the woods when we're getting this camera on a tree. All right, guys, I got my Voopeak TC22 camera all charged up. We're out here in the field. Now we're gonna get it turned on, set up, and let it sit, see what we think. Okay, so I've got it connected to our app, and what we're looking at here is just a live preview of what the camera's gonna be looking at. So this is pretty much exactly the way I want it. I may tweak it just a little bit there. And that looks just about perfect. I've double checked all my settings. We should be good to go. I'm gonna throw out some corn. We're gonna power this sucker on, and we're gonna let it soak for a week or two. Come back and see what kind of pictures and videos we can get off of it. All right, y'all, our Voopeak camera has been out for around 2 weeks. I just opened it up, moved it back to the settings mode so I could connect to our app. I did notice in here that the battery strength is 100%, so this solar panel is doing its job. So here in the app, I clicked on this bottom left icon here to go to our gallery. And then from within there, you have two folders. You have your photos and your movies. Let's just click on our photos and just kind of see how many photos we've gotten. So there you go. There I am, most recent. And we've definitely got some pictures of some deer. That's great. I swap down. Looks like we've got a bunch of pictures too. So if I go back, I can also go into the movie folder. And this is where we could view our videos. So let's just take a look at this one here. So for this being, Wi-Fi, transmitting them over to my phone, it's really good quality pictures from this phone. And it actually went pretty quick. Sometimes when you're trying to view images from a camera over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, it can kind of be a little slow. But this camera was actually pretty quick getting that to my phone. If I wanted to, I could download these pictures by clicking the little download icon. First, you'd want to check mark them, and then you could just say download, and then please wait. It's going to download those images to my phone's gallery. So you never have to actually pull the SD card off this camera and put it into a laptop if you choose not to. You can strictly use the app in your phone, view all of your pictures and movies, download the ones you want. You can format it and then move on, or just leave it on loop and just let it keep going and come back and check it periodically. I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera off. I'm going to pull the SD card out of it, and I'm going to take those pictures and videos to my laptop, download the full resolution, and then I'm going to put them in this video. So take a look at those samples and we'll come back and talk about it. All right, y'all. There you have it. What do y'all think? Tell you what I think. I like it. It seems like a great camera. It's got the built-in solar panel, the built-in batteries, so I don't have to go out and buy a bunch of AA batteries. Every time I checked it, it had 100% battery, so solar panel's working. It's keeping that thing charged. I think unless you're just getting a crazy amount of videos on this camera, you can probably leave it out indefinitely. The only limiting factor is your SD card. If you're running 4K video, you're going to fill that sucker up fast. You're going to have to go back out there and swap out that SD card pretty frequently if you're getting a lot of videos. Only really thing you can do about that is just get a bigger SD card. Or, you don't have to take 4K videos. You can do 1080p or lower quality, and they're still pretty great. Speaking of quality, the pictures and video quality, they're pretty great. You saw them for yourself. I am more than happy with them. You can't ask for a whole lot more in my opinion. So I appreciate Voopeak for sending me this camera. appreciate all y'all for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. And like always, remember, take the roads less traveled.